Morning. Hello, everybody. Okay. Well, hopefully, a couple of just housekeeping things. If we start having problems with the audio, please put something in the either chat or question section. We've been having a little bit of problem with GoToMeeting, so not be hesitant if my audio starts to break up at all. Hopefully it doesn't. I just want to give you a heads up on that. Today, what we're going to do, and we're going to keep this pretty condensed in about half an hour time. What we're going to do today, the objective is very quickly is to talk about, here's what everybody's world looks like. And then I'm just, for everybody involved, I'm a former CFO and recovering CPA, as I like to say. And here's what it is that in today's world, what I'm finding, or what we found here at BizNet, is that we're continually having data all over the place. We've got it in the cloud. We've got it on premise databases. We have them in spreadsheets. They're all over, and it's becoming more and more frustrating in this particular topic of, hey, I've only got, there's 4 or 5 key metrics for me to run my business. And so, what I'm hoping today is very lightly touch on a couple of things. And is, if you walk away from this, I want you to understand the importance of key performance indicators and why you do need to be paying attention to some of these things. Then we're really only going to touch on about 3 sales metrics. Some of these are basic, but sometimes I get back to the, just the basic blocking and tackling, back to basics. And let me make sure, for everybody on this call, everybody's industry is going to be a little bit different. So what I hope to do is to show you how you can build an interactive dashboard inside of Excel using some free add-ins that you get from Microsoft. Also, we've got some, we've got a new application that's available for all our BizNet customers that they can use. As part of being a customer of BizNet, you get this as part of your support and maintenance, and so you can download it and try it out. And then, and what I'll try and do is give you some examples of where are some other helpful tools that help me in these things. And then we'll wrap it up probably about 10:30ish with some questions. So we try and keep this light, get to the point, and then let you go and do some things on your own. What is a key performance indicator? What is the definition of a key performance indicator? Well, as this is Wikipedia, and you can get about 50 different ones. Really, it's a set of quantifiable measure that a company or industry uses to gauge or compare performance in terms of strategic and operational goals. Okay, sounds like a little bit of consulting speak to me, but really what it means to me is that we all know this, is that there's 3 or 4 items that you have to monitor to measure your business. And what we try and do is make these where there's leading indicators and there's lagging indicators. Leading indicators from a sales perspective is how many opportunities am I talking, how many new customers am I talking to, or potential new customers. And lagging indicators are sales revenue. And so, you have to, each one of your industries, you need to look at your key performance indicators. Now, I can tell you when I'm running a business, cash is the thing that I pay attention to. So cash flow is number 1 on my book. But from a sales perspective, what we try to do is kind of sit here and go, look, the importance of key indicators, key indicators of your business is really this, is that you got to treat it like, why do we have a dashboard on our car? The reason we got a dashboard on our car is to warn us of 4 or 5 key things about the operation of the business. Okay, same thing in your car. The reason we have a dashboard is that, hey, I'm about to be out of gas, or the oil's I'm low on oil and the whole engine's going to break down. So what you have to do is evaluate the 4 or 5 key metrics in running your business. Now there's some that are just universal that you're going to run into, and I'm going to touch on the more 2 or 3 of the universal ones. The key thing for me too also is I'm going to show you how to build these. So not only can this is kind of generic sales analysis, but hopefully at the end you can take this and do it yourself. So, what are the key metrics we want to take a look at? Well, one of the key metrics we want to look at is the biggest challenge is this. Because I think what happens is everybody in this call, we all kind of know what are the key metrics for running our business. The challenge we got is that generally, even here in BizNet, there's data in different systems that you have to pull out because it's not in one nice, neat, organized area. So the biggest challenge we've got when we're trying to build these KPIs is and then getting it organized and doing it in a real timely fashion. And so, I'm not equipped to do a poll today, but I bet you if I asked everybody on this call, we'd probably all agree that getting access, getting to the data, getting it organized, and getting it compiled fast enough where it makes any sense to us is probably a challenge we're all facing. And I can tell you from BizNet to customers globally, doesn't matter what country I'm in, everybody has this challenge of I've got data all over the place, I'm pulling them in spreadsheets, and then I'm having to manually aggregate all this data. So, the three or four ones I want to look at today. One of them, and these may seem obvious, but sometimes I can tell you I talk to businesses all over the place, and they get caught up in the minutia of other areas of running the business, and they don't really look at these things. One thing is gross margin. Whole thing about is what's gross margin? It's your net sales less the cost of goods sold. Now, if you're in a services business, it's the hourly rate minus your salaries and benefits. But we all need to be paying attention to that because that's the net amount we get to contribution margin into the business. That's what we could use to pay the bills. Second key metric is a rolling 12 months. Because what happens is it generally, and again, these seem obvious, but a lot of cases we see businesses where we overlook the obvious. It's looking at the rolling 12 months, which is very difficult in some systems to even be able to do. Is what have I done? And just because I had a really strong December last year, I may not be running into that this year. Or all of a sudden over a 12-month revenue stream that my revenues are declining, and I got to pay attention to that. Because if I'm looking at it only on a calendar or fiscal year standpoint, I may be missing things that I got to be paying attention to. And the other thing that I really like, and what I spent a bunch of time trying to figure out how to do, is how to geographically map your sales. And this is something I think I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. Free add-in from Excel, and I find it very helpful for me and for us in our business because of the fact that geographically we can see where pockets of sales are happening, and we can now either tailor user groups or we can tailor things to that specific area because we're starting to see clusters of sales activity, and it may be encouraging to us to know that, hey, we might want to do some more activity in that particular area of the country where if you just looked on a spreadsheet, you may not see. So, all right, with that, I'm going to pull up a sheet and show you how we do it. So what we got here is a dashboard that we created, and it's a effective dashboard. So if I come over here and select October, you can see all the numbers changing, as well as a geographic map. Now, three main metrics I want to point out to, and we've got some other ones in here, and we did a fictitious warehouse distribution business, is that I've got a rolling 12 months so that I can pay attention, and we have these by different product lines, so that I can see in March that I see a spike in our network year. So, it's important for me to pay attention for seasonal trends, as well as I can see over here I've got a map. And if I roll over the map, I can see that I got particular sales amounts. And this is a very simple one. I'm going to show you two of them. There's another one that's a power map, free Excel add, and I can show you how to get these. And the last thing, obviously, is gross profit. Now, is that I got three main metrics. I got a rolling trend, I've got gross profit, and we got monthly sales shipments by state. Okay. Well, here's what happens is not everybody has their system, wired in. Well, here's what we've been able to do. This is a sample extract And this sample extract, you can see, is something that I think everybody can get out of their system, or getting most components out of their system, is that I've got a customer class, a customer name, I've got the item, I've got the sales amount, I've got a cost of sales, I've got the net sales amount. You can see right here, I've got all this data. So I got shipped to Shreveport, I got the warehouse. All right, well, here's the thing. This is not a small list. What this list is about 5,000 records, okay? And I've got to, and I bet you most everybody on this call has got some sort of extract that they can get out of their system, no matter what it is. And you can see right here, I go down. Well, okay, this is nice, but what most of us do is that we start trying to filter or create pivot tables on this, which are great if I'm analyzing one section, but the challenge I've got is that that doesn't lend itself very well to a dashboard like this over here. What do? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how we can do, first of all, a rolling 12-month trend, okay? So I come over here and I've got a trend chart. And this trend chart, what you can do is you can see right here, what we've done is that this is pointing to the dashboard in a particular, when I change it, it changes it to this period. Okay, so I got period 10. Now what you can do, and again, we're going to email this out to everybody on the call. So once we're done with this, you can actually work with this sheet yourself. So you can please use this as an example template, whatever you can. It's just if it's helpful for you, we're glad to help. But you can see right here, we use a formula where it says, hey, if this one is -1 is equal to 0, then do 12. Otherwise, go minus. So you can see right here that no matter what period I put in, it will roll back to 12. And you do the same type of formula with the year. Now, you know, you're going, hey, that's great, Eric, but you got 5,000 records. What am I going to do? How do I get the AV number, you know, or the comp number total for November 2013? Well, I'm going to introduce a couple of new tools that can help you do this. One of them is that we've got like I said, a complimentary edition. It's called our BizNet Desktop Edition. And what it allows me to do is that I go and select a range of data. And so where I've got all these values, the sales trend over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and select this range. So I'm going to go across the columns here. And what I do is I go select data. And what it does is it says, hey, where's your data? So it's going to allow me to take this range of data, and I'm going to copy it over here real quick. And I'm going to shift it down to the bottom. And then when I click OK, you can see right here, it's about 4,800 records. So it's not a small sample set. And I'm just going to call this Sales History 1. And then I'll click Next. Oh, wait. Hang on a second. I'm just going to call it S just for fun right now. Okay. And then what it does is it allows me to input all this data so I can change it. So if anybody's used to loading stuff from Excel, it allows me to do these things that I can from a class. It has everything in there. I click Next. What it's doing is it's going to load it into memory. And it's going to load these 5,000 records into memory real quick. So it's going to tell me that. It's going to pop up a message here in a second that everything's been loaded. And then I can get back to building my query. So I'll give it a second here. And you can see right here, it loaded 115,000 elements. Okay, great. Well, now let me go back. And now I go to my trend. What I do is now I can build super functions. Okay? What a super function does, click Query Data, it allows me very quickly to query this whole sum of data. So I've got where's your data, sum, period, year, product line. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how quickly it is to build this out. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to blank this out real quick, and I'm going to build a super function. So start over, and I go, okay, so I pull this out, and what do you want to do? You want to create a function or a list? I'm going to create I'm going to come over here and I pick what I loaded in. And so I got sales history sitting here. And it says, what would you like to do? So I can sum, min, max, and I'm going to sum up. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to sum up total sales or net sales amount. And see, if you notice, these are all populating from the columns that I loaded in from my raw data extract. So I'm going to go net sales amount. And now, very quickly, I can add some filters. So I add some filters, and I just go, hey, I want Excel to load up, add everything, sum up everything net sales, where I'm going to go month equals, and then I'm just going to point to the sheet where it says period 11. And as you would expect, very simply, I'm going to go where year equals, come down here, year equals, and I'll point to this. And so you can see right now, if you're using any kind of Excel formulas, I can fill this out. And then I'm going to product line. And let me go to sales product line, and I'm going to point it to this cell. And what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to anchor the row column. And then the last thing I do is, hey, where do you want to put on the sheet? So I'll just put it here, click OK, and then there's my number. Now, I didn't do a very good job of that, so let me drag this over and I'll show you what we did. Okay, so when I query the data, we can see I've got period equals this, year, and then sales product line equals AV. And then what I can do is simply drag that down, and there's all my numbers. Oops, sorry, let me drag this over. Never fails here. So here I go. I'm getting a little happy with my dragging stuff around. But you can quickly see, and then the other two, everything I've built, I can drill down on. So I can go drill down and crust. And what it does is it creates a list of everything. You see the response time we got was in the thousands. Okay. So we got a trend. I just simply add, so I just went and inserted a graph based on these product lines. So you just went insert, and then I would I just use the recommended charts. So thus, when I have that, I have it over here in my dashboard. And so when you see when I did the trend, it was based on the year and period, and this was feeding from the dashboard. So now if I change to September, it's got a lookup chart where I come over here and it changed the period over here to period 9. So now I've got an interactive rolling 12 months. And like I said, we can give you examples on how to do this after this webinar. Okay. The next thing is that, okay, that's great, Eric, but I want the geo map's what I want to know about. Okay. Well, the geo map is going to allow me to, if I walk through and I've got that same data where I got ships to state and net sales. So if I open a desktop edition function here, if you notice here, it's the same thing, and I think understanding of how this works in that I can sum net sales year period, but in this case I went ship to state from the same date I just did a second ago, and it totals it up. Okay, and I go, here's all my states and here's all my data, and it's changing the period from above. Now, here's what this does. It's an add-in. If you can go to open up, and I'm using Excel Office 2013. Go to Office 2013, you go to My Apps, and you go to See All. You can go, and it's called G. So if you just do a search in My Apps and Office, you can find, and it will, let me see if I got that here. It will show you, it's a free download. You install it you just click a couple buttons and install it, and here, then you'll have it included. And what it becomes is that it becomes a graphic that you can drag around. And it's real simple. This is a real basic one. What you end up here doing is that you click that little setting and it goes select. So when I go select data, it goes down to that range I had. Okay, so if you're used to using graphs, you just go simply select where your data is at. Okay, then I'll come back up here to my, and it's going to say, where's your state? Well, mine's in the little state column that I had, and my numbers was in the net sales. So if I went back here and looked at my numbers down here, there's my net sales. And I have my state, my sales, and after that, it goes, hey, pick your color theme. So I could go from green to red or red to green or gray cell. Like I said, this is a free add-on, add-in into Excel, and then I can give it a title. Do all that, save it, and now I've got an interactive map so that, again, if I sit here and do this, I click OK, it's going to change all my dates so that now I've got a rolling 12 months, I've got customer shipments by state, and then you also see that I got my gross profit margins. Now, in this, again, once you get an idea of the sample data that I've got, which is what I think everybody should have, names, customer, amount, items, all that fun stuff, I come over here and I fill out the same formula that I did a minute ago with this desktop edition function. So we like to call them. Is that I click on this and you can see right here, where's your data? It's in the sheet that I loaded up. What I want to sum, net sales, year, month. In this case, I want to go customer name. So I'm now summing up total sales by customer so that when I go net sales over here, sorry about that, and you can do that the net sales amount by particular customer and do the same thing for gross profit margin. Again, using this add-in, you can right-click and drill down into the data. So if I drill down into, I can either have it list or in a pivot table. Nice thing about a pivot table is that I go, hey, I want to be able to look at this and see it by, product line, or I could see it, I'll drag product line in there. All right, let me get my product line, drop it in there. Now I can see my product line, and maybe I want to see it by item, and I can just drag it down, drop it in. So I can make it interactive, and the whole thing about this, it's all contained in this sheet. All the data, I can email, like we're going to show you after this webinar, we'll email this to you, and you can play around with it and hopefully use it as a guide to help you in your business. The other thing I want to show you as a little more advanced geo-mapping concept is that we also have this ability to use an add-in, again, another free add-in from Microsoft, and this particular one is called Power Map. Okay, what Power Map allows you to do, and you may not or may not be aware of this, is that it allows you to take, again, geo-map data. In this case, I've got the U.S. population major markets, and I got some partner sales data here, and we did some other things. What you do for this, that you highlight the range of data that you want to map, and I come over here and I go Launch Power Map. This is pretty neat stuff. What it does is it allows you, it opens up a new app, and this is a Microsoft, and it's incorporated with Bing. Okay, with that, what it allows you to do is it took all the data. Now, what this report, what this showing on this kind of sample data we put together, is that the blue areas represent population in the United States. Now, this could be sales in your organization by state, but the whole thing about it, the dish here versus what we were showing you earlier, is that you can actually interact with this. So I can move it around, I can drill in, and if I hover over this, I can see populations in the U.S. It also allows me to add filters to this so that I can, if I want to see sales, our sample data, I can roll this back and forth and the map will actually interact. And you can see that I got response time. So it's another one of these tools that it would help me with key performance indicator of measuring where my sales are, my margins in which geographic region. And this applies on a global basis as well, so that if you got international sales, you could actually have it showing up over here in, it will be represented geographically in other parts of the world as well. And it's a very nice tool. Again, comes free complimentary BizNet. I mean, not BizNet, but I'm sorry, Microsoft, and it is. I believe you got to be on the professional edition. This particular product. If you're on the Office 365, I believe it's the professional edition. You get this as a free download. The product I showed you here, doesn't matter what edition of Excel you have. This is a complimentary product as well. So just wanted to give everybody kind of a quick overview of how do you get key performance indicator into your business that you can interact with and make it something where all you had to do each period is simply take this data, put it in this sheet, and hit refresh. Refresh workbook, and now your workbook is an interactive environment that you can email to other people. The tool sets, I'll go back to my PowerPoint here, that the tools that we're using and making this happen, one was a geographic heat map. That's a free Excel add-in in the Office store, so you can do that. And then the other thing is a BizInsight Desktop Edition. Again, it's a complimentary copy to all our BizNet customers, so that if it's something that you feel can help you. And I only did sales data. Hopefully the concept was that anything, any free-form Excel data you can get in, you can use that to build different metrics against. And so we've got training videos and things to help you on that. It's pretty much what I was going to show you. So if we have questions today, we're trying to be sensitive to your time and get you in and out of here in about half an hour. All right. In the meantime, again, we're trying to do a series of these type of webinars for just pure education purposes to show you and let you know as we discover new things that we feel may be helpful to our customer base, that we want to make sure you're aware of this information. And hopefully it adds some value to what you're doing, with or without BizNet. We're just Excel, we're Excel geeks here at BizNet, so we think there's a few other Excel geeks out in the world too. Sure. Okay, so what you do to get the heat map is you open up Excel and you go into Insert, and you go in, there's a little button. You may or may not, it's like, the funny thing about it, there's a bunch of buttons in Excel and then sometimes I don't ever pay attention to, but we do. And what you do is you go to My Apps, and you can go to the My App store. And what you do is that you can go see all, and there's two ways. One is you can go right here and just type in, and you can search for it. Yeah, geographic heat map. So you just go up to the store and go geographic heat map. Do a search, and you can see right here it's a free add-in. You just click on it, and you go, tells you a little bit about it, got a few reviews, and you go trust it, and it'll download and put it in Excel for you. And like I said, it's a pretty simplistic way, but sometimes just getting good enough is good enough, and we find it useful. And it's a free add-in, so very good question. Okay, well, there's a couple things. One, as a BizNet customer, like I said, you get a complimentary license for that. As of today, either if you're the administrator, we have it out on our customer portal, so you can go there, download it, or if you want, you can actually go to biznetsoftware.com, and I will. And so I go to biznetsoftware.com. I go under, you can see right here where I got free trial. You can just go and download that, and it gives you a 45-day trial. And then if you just email us after that, we can get you the license key. If you're not the administrator on your site, we can help guide you to the right person and get you the permanent key that you can use. And then you can also watch a video, and we got some other tutorials that will help you. But that's where you go for right now. So if you just want to try it out, this very moment, just go there and download the free trial, and then permanent key to go with that. And we got some brochures and some other things that we got on here. And that one, it's been built to scale, so it can handle. We have stress tested it with about 10 million records, and for fun, we loaded up the entire history of baseball in there, so we can ask some fun questions about baseball statistics. It's actually pretty fun if you like doing data analysis. But very good question. Thank you for asking. All right. Okay. Well, listen, we're trying to do these in kind of bite-sized pieces. So we want to thank everybody for their time today. Hopefully this is helpful. Please let us know if these are helpful, because we want to make sure that we're providing information that we think would be beneficial for others. But just keep the commentary. Let us know where else we can help. And we sure really do appreciate your time this morning. And we'll look forward to, we'll let you know the next series of webinars that we're doing. And we'll keep you posted. So again, thanks for your time today. We really appreciate it.